Now we're live. Hello.
Hello, NaNoWriMo. I'd like to introduce Nina.
Hi, I'm Nina. I am the program's intern. Welcome to VWI. If you haven't come to a VWI before, welcome. If you are joining us in again, welcome. For those of you who may not know what a VWI is, it's a virtual write-in. It's basically a welcome space for all of us to come together and jot down as many words as we possibly can in given time frames, or what we call sprints. So we're going to introduce all of ourselves. So again, my name is Nina. I'm the program's intern for NaNoWriMo.
Well said, Nina.
Thank you.
I am Grant Faulkner. I'm Executive Director of NaNoWriMo. We got plenty of fun stuff happening. It's great to see in the chat people reporting out either how many words they've written today or how many words they need to write to truly double up. So we're going to all double up.
I'm Freddie.
Freddie is a man of one big name, one big presence. Yeah. Great. Well, let's just give a little bit of update on the donation day stuff. Super thankful for all of your donations. We are at, let me refresh my screen here just so I get the absolute most accurate figure. About $119,147 to be right on the nose. Thank you so much. That's huge. And then we've written 50,671,251 words, which is huge for our community. Although we got to pick that up because we had a goal of 125 million words. We're on track with our donations. Thank you. Big thanks. But we need to really dig in and get the word count up. So we'll start doing that right now. And I want to announce that we've got like some really special stuff happening for the next 2 hours. One is we have an unlimited match for the next 2 hours. A special donor in the Santa Cruz region is going to match dollar for dollar. So if you donate $10, that means $20 comes into NaNoWriMo and the creative programs that we put on for you. So please donate in the next 22 hours and double your donation. What's the word? You bang for the buck? I don't know.
Sure, yeah.
Something impact. Let's put it that way. And the other big thing is that we have this fantastic prize. Writer's Digest has given a free pass to their annual writing conference. It's in New York City this August. I think it's August 13th to August 16th. And that doesn't only include the conference. You get free lodging for those days, and you get up to $500 of transportation costs to get you there. So that comes from us, from NaNoWriMo. So big prize, big match. Let's do it.
Yeah. So just to kind of continue with today's theme, we are going to be talking about the muddy middle. We're going to be talking about the middle of November, the middle of our writing season. And so all of our writing sprints will kind of be surrounded around getting through that middle of your journey and pushing forward through forms of travel, through forms of learning, and through forms of community. If you haven't already, feel free to subscribe to our channel. I think it's in this corner over here. That way, if you are ever right here,
Just a little bit off to the right.
Just a little bit.
Your left, probably.
If you ever want to come back in for another virtual write-in at any point in time, you'll be notified for any other writing events that we have here on YouTube. So let's get into the thick of it.
Yeah. What's the muddy middle, though?
So muddy middle, at least for me.
Everyone has their personal definition.
Everyone has their own personal definition. So for me, the muddy middle is probably going to be, like you're in the thick of your writing season. You're right in the middle of your book. You've gotten a great beginning started, but then all of a sudden you kind of just lose momentum a little bit, and you lose focus of where you want the whole novel to go. And especially in the middle of November, that can be a huge stopping point for a lot of people and a huge cautionary point for a lot of people.
Middle of the month, middle of your novel. How about you, Freddie? Anything to add?
Yeah, I think it can be like kind of in the motivation of the writing itself. I think it can also come in with a narrative. Like there's a common idea of like second act problems with screenplays, where it's like, you know where you begin, you know where you end. But the middle is kind of like, like how do you get from one point?
Just have them sitting around like us. Your characters are just kind of sitting in a room talking. Being like, I can't wait till we get to the end, but I'm stuck here. That's a great definition. I literally visualize it like quicksand or quick mud. And if you've ever gotten into one of these situations where you're actually sinking in something like quicksand or quick mud. It's a real kind of panicky state because you cannot move forward. And I grew up watching westerns, and there was always a scene in one western where somebody would just start sinking in some quicksand, and they'd desperately be reaching out for some branch to kind of pull themselves out. So I think that happens with us as writers too, is that we have to kind of desperately grasp onto something to pull ourselves forward. So that's our goal today, is to do some word sprints and get through the muddy middle. Yeah.
Perfect.
And well, should we say we have several powerful things. Most of them are on the page in writing, right? But we have a certain secret magical recommendation as well.
Yeah. And that would be.
Shall we?
Yeah, we shall.
Shall we show?
Let's.
So, hats. A lovely thing.
Yeah, hats give you extra powers if you're stuck. It starts, the NaNoWriMo lore of hats actually starts with a Viking helmet. Chris Beatty used to put on, Chris Beatty the founder, if you don't know who he is, he used to, at his worst moments of writing, he would put on a Viking helmet to give him superpowers to really kind of overcome those obstacles. So if you have a hat at home, or a Viking helmet, or any headgear that has super magical powers, please put it on right now.
All right.
Yeah.
So I think this would be a great time to get started with our first writing sprint.
Yeah. Should we do a sprint?
Yeah.
The first sprint is all about travel. And we, so we're going to talk about your character journey. We're going to do one very, very miniature sprint, and then we're going to do one 5-minute sprint, and they go together. And the miniature sprint comes from the sci-fi author Ray Bradbury, and we have recorded it here in our book for young writers, teen writers, Brave the Page. And Ray Bradbury, when he first started as a writer, he would do this thing. He would make lists to get story ideas. So it works. It can work for big story ideas, or it can work for just getting through moments in your story that you're stuck on. And let me read this. Fahrenheit 451 author Ray Bradbury used a list-making technique to generate ideas for his stories as well as for story titles. He'd make long lists of whatever nouns popped into his head, letting each word lead to the next. So you got to do this fast and let your subconscious take over. For Bradbury, this type of word association ultimately uncovered long-forgotten places and peoples and memories and feelings and stories. He said, these lists were the provocations, finally, that caused my better stuff to surface. I was feeling my way towards something honest, hidden under the trapdoor on the top of my skull. So we're going into your skull at this moment through that trapdoor with this exercise. And here's what one of his lists looked like. And this is a really important list because it led to one of his great novels. He wrote, the lake, the night, the crickets, the ravine, the attic, the basement, the trapdoor, the baby, the crowd, the night train, the foghorn, the scythe, the carnival, the carousel, the dwarf, the mirror maze, the skeleton. And so writing these down, and then he'd write little essays, and we're going to do a word sprint. But this led to his novel, Something Wicked This Way Comes. So I would like you to, we're going to do this in 2 minutes. Does anyone have a phone?
I have a timer.
You have a phone?
Yes.
Nina is our very responsible timer. For 2 minutes, write 20 nouns. Try to get to 20, or just write as many nouns as you can. So you tell us when to go, Nina.
All right. So I have 2 minutes on the clock.
2 minutes on the clock.
And whenever you guys are ready, in 3, 2, 1, 20 nouns. Go.
Go.
All right, and stop.
Cool. How did people do with that? Did that unlock? What was that? The trap door of your skull? Did you guys feel the trap door
Maybe, yeah.
come open?
Not entirely. So
Yeah.
I did not personally follow through with the prompt, and that is okay if you guys didn't necessarily follow with the prompt exactly. But for those of you who did, hopefully it worked very well. But yeah, personally, I didn't necessarily follow.
You're a prompt renegade.
Yes, I'm a prompt renegade.
A prompt rogue.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, always insist on your own creative process. If it doesn't work, if somebody else's doesn't work for you. How about you, Freddie?
Yeah, I followed mine. It became Freudian very quickly, which I'm not sure I'm a fan of.
Getting a lot of pushback on this prompt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a battle.
That's all right. Insist on your creative process. It looks good though. Yeah, I'm not. You know, I see. Well, I'm not gonna.
You can read some if you want.
I see blood and chandeliers and
Gnosis.
liberation, freedom, hypnosis. That sounds like a good story to me. I had some problems with it too. I liked it and I like it, but I found that I think I was being a little too logical.
Mm-hmm.
I started like with some very visual details of a scene, and I kept building on those specific details instead of just letting nouns.
Yeah.
Flow. So I think these subconscious exercises sometimes they take a little practice.
What I had
easy.
trouble with was sticking to nouns, because I kind of think of nouns and I think of kind of, I guess, things around them or something, or it's like phrases, and so it's hard to keep with the with just the person, place, or thing.
Yeah. One person says it takes me a little more time to get into the full free writing than that. Yeah, maybe the time was too pressed. I did it for just 2 minutes because I wanted to generate like really quick like thoughts that you didn't have to think about too much. We'll do a 5-minute sprint next though. Yeah, somebody has a good list here: circus, robot, spider, dark, peril, capture, hostage, net, clever, escape, grudging, respect. That's great. Thank you so much for participating. And we have a special request for Space Corgi from Jan.
Corgi was always on my lap.
Yeah, thank you for making Space Corgi a vital part of this. Elizabeth Briggs: skull, roses, sea, waves, sky, fog, knife, stone, step, pool, water, suit, corner, column. I want to see the stories that come out of these. These are great. We got more fans for Space Corgi. We could all just leave Space Corgi here.
Well, we discovered that Space Corgi is illiterate and can't write.
We discovered that in the last episode.
I believe, you know what? I believe that everyone's a writer. I think Space Corgi might just be a little shy. Space Corgi is going to find his or her time to write. I guarantee it. Look, I love libraries. Did you see that button?
Yeah, and now I'm wondering why she has it.
Yeah. I love my YouTube prompt. It says, Grant Faulkner, say something. I'm trying. Should we do prompt number 2?
Second part to sprint 1, yes.
Yes. So second part to sprint 1 is to choose 3 words. The 3 words that are basically speaking to you the most. And those are your prompt. That's your prompt for our next word sprint, which is going to be 5 minutes. And so you can think of this through the lens of your novel. You can think of it through the lens of a particular character. Or you can just write and have fun writing. Or if you're like Nina, you can do something else entirely, up to yourself. Just use this for your purposes to get ahead in your word count and to double up.
Okay, so we're going to be focusing on using 3 of those nouns that you guys used in order to write a little bit more on top of your word count. And for those of you who aren't necessarily following along with the prompts, feel free to just continue on any thought process you're already on the path of. 5 minutes in 3, 2, 1, start writing. All right, and stop. If you're in the process of a thought, you can finish it, but if you're done, go ahead and stop whatever you're writing. And let's talk about that. Let's talk about that sprint. How did it go for everybody? How did it go for you, Grant?
You know, it went really well. I didn't apply it to my novel. You inspired me with rebellious energy. I just kind of naturally absorbed it from you. But I really got into the story I was writing.
Okay.
It's always a good reminder how I always say that one reason I don't believe in writer's block is that every time I do a word sprint or lead one with a big group, I find that I have years of doing this. 100% of people write. You know, so all you need is a prompt, a goal, and a deadline, and writing happens. And that's what happened for me. This whole story, unplanned, subconscious was at work. I kept looking back up at my word list every time I got stuck and adding a new word. You know, and it actually created this story. I want to keep writing it.
Yeah.
After NaNoWriMo. So yeah, it was a good experience.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Freddie, how did that go for you?
I kind of, the word list I came up with was kind of spiraling out of where I was at with the novel I'm working on this month. And so I just kind of, the words helped, I think, focus in on the next scene I was going to be writing. So I started working on that, and it seems to be going pretty well.
That's good.
Did you write a lyric poem, Nina?
A lyric poem. Oh, I wish.
Something.
I actually added on to, I took this very important time to actually add on to my novel.
Good.
Excellent.
So I got a little bit of dialogue in, I got a little bit of narration. Yeah.
Very
I basically
cool.
just took this time to write every idea that I had on this.
Well, I'm gratified because I see a lot of people posting Angeline Missy's 193 words. Starlight Sapphire 271, that's huge. Spectre Dust 301, that might be the most words I've seen. Yeah, and I did see somebody say that, Shyla C., I skipped an entire section of my novel to use boat, house, and cat, and this works with the rest of my story. Good.
Huh. That's good.
That makes us feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this one. Super Mommy 811 says, it must have been a dream. It had to have been. No matter how hard she wanted what happened earlier to be real, it was impossible for someone who was figuratively dead to be alive in front of her.
I like it.
I like that people
I like
are
that.
sending in
Figuratively dead.
Yeah, I know. I like that people are sending in sentences that they've written.
Angeline Missy's, with another swish of the main thing in my head, I dropped the block at my feet and quickly pushed the door open. Mannequins of what I assume to be my two mothers sit on opposite sides of the bed. Ooh, spooky.
Nice. Really
Good one.
spooky.
Yeah. Sorry, my eyes are bugging out there. I need my reading glasses. Very good, guys. You're doing great.
All right. Well, I think that we can start to jump into sprint number 2 as well. Freddie, do you kind of want to talk about learning and how that can kind of help with the muddy middle?
So, like I was kind of saying earlier, I think the muddy middle for me means narrative, and I think that a good way to get out of that muddy middle is to kind of return to where your characters are at and try and think about like who they are as characters and what choices they're going to be making to kind of move things forward. And it's like we can argue about the various writing philosophies of whether character-driven stuff is really like the most valid or the best fiction. But I think that
Character is plot,
yeah,
that kind of thing.
yeah. So like whether or not that's true, I think it's useful to think about the characters if you want them to be compelling, and they can help you get out of the middle. So yeah, I think I mean we all know about like the difference between wants and needs in characters, where it's like what they want is what begins kind of the drive of the narrative, and then what they need is how it gets resolved. And so I think that in the muddy middle, it's a good chance to kind of think about the conflict between the want and the need, why they want something that's different than what they need, and thank you, Sparky. And kind of take some time to explore that.
Okay.
So in that interest, our prompt for our prompt number 2 is to think about characterization. So I'd like everyone to think about who their character is now, or who they will be 10 years from now, and how will they reflect on this moment that they're in now. So that can be, you can like write maybe a passage where they're reflecting back on like their current situation, or you can kind of write like half of it on now, half of it on then. But yeah, just kind of explore the character and explore how they might perceive themselves.
I love that. It's inherently dramatic, because when I think back on myself 10 years ago,
I get mad.
how little I knew. Little I knew.
All right. So we're going to be writing for about 10 minutes this time. Again, the sprint 10 whole minutes.
Yeah.
Again, the sprint prompt is going to be questioning who your character is now, who they'll be 10 years from now, and how they can reflect on this moment that they're in currently. Again, you don't have to follow the sprint.
Should we make a last minute change and have it be 2 5-minute, like to split it up into 2 again, and have like 5 minutes writing on now, 5 minutes on writing in the future?
I think in the interest of time, it would probably be a good idea just to keep it a full 10 minutes.
Sure.
But we can do that for the last prompt. We can do that. We can definitely do that for the last.
I like the real-time rejiggering of our agenda. That's great. I like it.
I know.
Yeah.
This is all of what happens in time travel.
You're seeing planning in action.
All right. So full 10 minutes for this one. Just go head into it if you can. In 3, 2, 1, write.
Excellent timekeeping, Nina.
Thank you.
She's so good at that.
Yeah. If you want to see a bad timekeeper, just I'll do it next. Sorry, I'm interrupting you.
All right, time is up.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Isn't
Didn't
it
even feel
amazing?
like
Quick.
10 minutes.
That's time travel, right? Speeding into the future because of writing sprints.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the sprint part. Yeah.
So, how did that go for everybody?
You asking Freddie and me?
I'm asking
Everybody?
I'm asking everybody.
Okay.
For me, for you, for Freddie, for
My-
internet.
Yes.
My total crossed 15,000.
Way to go. What is our, where are we supposed to be in the month, by the way?
We are supposed to be
9 times. You're ahead of.
15,272.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, that's my current. It's 15,003 today.
Okay. Everyone get to 15,003. You know what I thought? I'm always interested. I feel like there's just something about writing with other people that's really powerful.
Mhm.
Like if I do a sprint at home, I don't know, it just seems less successful to me when I'm doing it alone. There's something about sitting here with you guys, like you're holding me accountable. I'm not going to get up and go looking for a cookie. I'm not going to do things like that. And also everyone here who's with us, there's some sort of built-in accountability. And I've read psychological studies that say actually just writing with people in proximity somehow makes you more creative. Like you're picking up some energy even if you're not talking.
Right.
I think that's what happens in NaNoWriMo Write-Ins. Yeah, how about you, Nina? Did you get some good writing in?
I got some good writing in.
Yeah.
Almost 600 words.
Wow.
Just in that whole little thing.
Wow.
And I'm getting really into depth with two of my main characters. So I haven't really talked a whole lot about my novel, but basically the premise is this doctor is trying to help a young girl regain memories that she's lost in the past. And so she has this trademark phrase that she uses in every interaction that she has with her to try and create a deja vu scenario, essentially. So that way she eventually remembers all of the things that were in her past and in her future.
Mm-hmm.
And so I finally got them to introduce themselves to each other.
Uh-huh.
I finally got an introduction period for them, and they're starting up their whole conversation and everything like that. And it's going swimmingly.
A lot of time travel elements right in your novel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Kate Hebert broke 10,000. Congratulations, Kate.
Woo!
Yeah. She says, finally.
Finally.
Yeah. Let's read some more here.
Yeah. And also drop in the comment section who your favorite character is. It can be story related, movie related, whatever. But drop your favorite character in and why you like that character.
Yeah. Eva Sean, sparks fly from my hand. It's hard to tell whether the sparks are real flames or just the magical bits of almost fire that always accompany my attempts at magic. Yeah, attempts at magic.
I like
That's you got fire going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the magic.
Let's see.
Congratulations, Christine Collins is at 23,000 words.
Wow.
Way ahead of all of us,
Yeah.
I think.
Everyone here. Yeah.
Everyone here.
Everyone here. Daisy passed 20,000 today during an earlier write-in. Way to go, Daisy.
Nice. Congrats.
Yeah, Aaron Witherspoon, 27,700 words. Cool. I'm not sure how to pronounce this, but SCHM, 1596, hit 18,000.
It looks like people are starting to...
Robert the Other Weasley, 26,000 last night.
It looks like people are starting to put in their favorite characters, too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so Happy Sharky says her favorite character is obviously the three-legged cat. People can't compete with animals.
True.
Let's see. someone.
B. Wheeler says, Iris Callahan, my main character, is by far my favorite because I'm putting so much of myself into her. It's been a great way to boost my own self-esteem because through her I feel likable. I totally get that. I've been doing that as well, and it's like, I don't know. People get a lot of flack for doing like self-insert characters, but I think it's inevitable to do self-insert characters. Every character is you. Yeah. And it's good to give yourself some self-love through that.
Yeah. I usually put my characters through such hell. So it's the worst. It's more the worst, the opposite. You know, presenting such a poor dramatic effect. Yeah.
I can understand that.
Yeah. Favorite characters and stories.
Let's see.
Mona from Pretty Little Liars. She's so unappreciated and never gets forgiven. Cool.
There's a lot of really good characters here.
This chat is going so fast I can't keep up with what I want to read here.
Yeah, that happens.
That
Favorite
happens
character
a lot.
of all time is Octavia from The 100. Aria from Pretty Little Liars. We got another one from Pretty Little Liars. Love those creative spirits.
Do you have a favorite character of all time, Grant?
You know, that is a good question. I don't think I do. There's just so many characters that I love, you know. It's like that favorite book question. I never can answer that.
Yeah.
It's just there's too many. So yeah. I feel like I'd be doing such a disservice to all the characters I love if I name one.
Right.
Yeah.
If people have ever read this book called All the Bright Places by Jennifer Needham, Theodore Finch is one of the main protagonists, and I absolutely love his sarcasm.
Yeah.
He's a very, very, very sarcastic teen, but he's also very intuitive of his own emotions. So he like really understands himself on a very deep level, and I appreciate that.
It's a good combo. Sarcastic and aware. There's got to be limitations to the awareness, right? Is that part of the story?
I think so. I mean, there's also like a whole thing where he sleeps for extremely long periods of time, and he never really knows when exactly he'll wake up from those long slumbers. So I think in that sense, he also kind of doesn't really know himself. He doesn't know exactly when he'll be ready to deal with life or whatever he's dealing with at the time period. So I think there's certain elements of assuredness.
You have to have that for good drama.
What about you, Freddie?
I think I'm with Grant. I think I have favorite characters from certain things. Like I'll have favorite characters from certain books or worlds or whatever. But I don't know favorite like all time. Yeah, I don't know. I am seeing a lot of like my favorite characters in the chat. Like Nessa and Uncle Iroh from Avatar.
Ooh,
fantastic. Hashtag role model.
Hashtag role model.
Peter Parker is such a great character. I often find myself thinking about like how profoundly good Spider-Man is.
Oh, also Bruce Wayne. For those of you
we got a little
who
Batman
love Batman.
One of my first words as a child was Batman. So I guess we should rank Batman as one of my favorite characters.
I go into avid discussions with people, like very, very intense discussions with people about why Batman is the best superhero of all time.
He's not.
He is. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion.
This is like a whole month-long conference where you have panelists speaking about who the best superhero of all time.
Honestly,
okay, everyone.
It's a very controversial.
What's your favorite superhero? And then everyone that has a favorite superhero that isn't Batman, why do you think he's better than Batman?
I mean,
we're going off script here.
We're going off script here. Like, this was a whole speech that somebody did for one of my classes, apparently. Like, why Superman was better than Batman. And my professor was like, okay, but you're wrong.
Somebody wants to do favorite villains, so we're really going off on tangents.
Okay. Oh my god.
Some big tangents here.
Ooh, Captain Marvel. I like that.
Yeah.
Thor.
Wonder Woman's getting a lot of
Nightwing
votes.
is Batman, but better.
Yes.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Wow, the
Trout.
chat,
I mean-
well said.
the chat is going crazy now.
I mean, Nightwing is
Thor.
basically just the new version of Batman. He's not really the better version.
Nightwing
of
is Batman without the reactionary politics.
You guys
I'll
aren't
give you that.
you guys aren't looking at the votes here. I'm gonna call it for Wonder Woman. Just eyeballing this.
I love that somebody said, "Listen, but Catwoman."
Yeah, don't underestimate Catwoman. Definitely not.
Never underestimate Catwoman.
Yeah.
Oh my
I
gosh.
didn't do an official tally here, but I feel like Wonder Woman got more votes. So should we go back to helping writers write their novels?
Yes, I feel like we should. And with that introduction, we should jump straight into our final prompt. So part of this is community, like one that we've built here at NaNoWriMo, where people can kind of join together and feel welcomed into a culture of writing and everything. We also want you to kind of explore the community within your novel as well. So kind of think about community as a whole. It doesn't necessarily have to be the neighborhood or anything along those lines. It can be the environment that your character is in, their friend groups or family, any work-related coworkers or anything like that. But we want you to explore your character within their own community and write about how they might be influenced by different aspects of their community. So are they supported, or do they have problems in their community? Do they thrive in their community? And like I said, it can be about friends, it could be about family, work, any animals that are in the area, any political problems they might experience, whatever the case may be. So kind of go in depth, explore the community that your character is in, and write about how they might be influenced by it. We're going to be writing for another 10 minutes here.
You know what I love about this? Before you set the timer?
Sure.
I love this prompt because I think sometimes we just think of characters, this isolated creature, this isolated personality. And really what defines us as people is exactly this. It's where we fall on that spectrum of like, do we belong or do we not belong?
Right.
You know? And what is involved in not belonging or belonging.
Yeah.
So I think that really tells who we are. So that's a good one. Yeah.
I agree. And we're going to write, we're going to write for another 10 minutes. And really go in depth with the community and the influence that it has on your character as well. And it can be shown through your character's eyes, or anybody else in the neighborhood, or anybody else within the community, if that's part of your novel as well. So 10 minutes of writing in 3, 2, 1, and write.
Yeah.
New hat.
Yeah.
I'm gonna steal the Viking helmet.
Yeah. Some new superpowers.
And then I guess I'll switch over to
Nina is now a follower.
Just gonna be
You're gonna
a
enjoy that one.
rebel. I'll be a rebel follower.
Ooh,
This is
very
like,
good.
yeah. In Europe.
All right, time is up. Pencils down, fingers down. If you are on a sentence, finish it. If you are not, talk about how that went. For all of you.
I just want to give a shout out to Elizabeth Bridges, who said she had her second epiphany this hour. Oh my freaking gosh. Congratulations, Elizabeth.
Congrats. Yay.
That's amazing. 2 epiphanies in 1 hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a high epiphany rate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I consider 1 epiphany a week really successful. So that's great.
Consider like 1 every 3 years to do that.
If I have one, it's great.
Yeah. Look at all these words. People are giving their word counts.
Yes.
Emma Coe is over 23,000 words. Congratulations.
Congrats.
Yeah. And this last word sprint, Aaron Witherspoon, 471.
Sarah M, 267, finished my words for today. Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's a great accomplishment, especially if you finish your word count for the whole day.
Mm-hmm. So here's a question I have for people. When you hit your word count for the day, do you stop writing there or do you keep writing if you're in the group?
It depends for me, especially.
Mm-hmm.
If I hit my word count, but I'm still in train of thought, I will keep going until the train stops. Other days when, and that helps for days when I'm like kind of lagging on my word count or I'm kind of hitting writer's block a little bit. So,
because who was it that gave the writing advice of like never quit when you're stuck, like only quit when you know?
Ernest, well, a lot of writers have done it, or I've read it from other writers. I read it initially from Ernest.
That's what I was thinking.
And he kind of had this whole kind of system set up where he would write 2, 3, 4 hours in the morning, but he would always quit before he was totally out of juice. And his premise was that you save a little bit so that you start the next day with some momentum. He believed that kind of juice would stay with you and actually build through the day.
I think I believe that to be true.
I think there's some truth to it. Yeah, I've done that too, where I totally exhaust myself and write everything out, and then the next day it's tougher to get going. So I think there's some truth to that. Yeah. On the other hand, if you're just feeling it, if you're in the groove, and you have the time to keep going further, why not take a little advantage of that, especially in November? To my knowledge, Hemingway never did NaNoWriMo.
Really?
Just to my knowledge, yeah.
Wow.
So he might have revised that theory for the month of November. Yeah.
And it looks like we've actually raised a total of almost $150,000 just within this time period. So thank you to all of you who have donated.
Yes.
And thank you to all of you in general for writing with us. We love building a community here, and you are all a part of our NaNoWriMo community. So definitely thank you.
In the end, we all wear the same hat. A writing hat.
The same hat.
Yeah. 6 different shapes.
All these hats are the same. Any
So-
differences between them are socially constructed.
That's
Exactly.
That's right.
So thank you for joining us for this virtual write-in. It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure, and I want to give a little reminder.
Go ahead.
This is just hour 2 of that dollar for dollar match. So if you give $10, it's $20 to NaNoWriMo. If you give $25, it's $50. If you give $50, it's $100. So make the most out of that match. The person, this wonderful anonymous donor from the Santa Cruz region, she really wants to help us out. So she's maxing it out for the next hour. And you'll also be entered into a raffle for Writer's Digest Conference in New York City next August. We'll pay $500 to get you there, and then you can enjoy 3 or 4 days of best-selling authors. I don't know, they have a bunch of stuff. You can pitch your novel to agents. I've been to one of these, and you meet a bunch of writers. That's the thing that I think the best part. You meet a bunch of writers, and a lot of NaNoWriMo writers actually go to this conference as well. So it's a good place to go meet peers, make lifelong friends, and sell your novel if that's what you want to do and publish it. Yeah.
Well, thank you for that, Grant.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So definitely, if you are able to donate, it really helps us, and it also really helps you, because that helps us give you all of the resources to the best of our abilities. If you can't donate, that's also okay. These resources will still be available for you, and you are definitely still a part of our NaNoWriMo community. Feel free to hit the subscribe button down below if you haven't already. That way you're notified every time we have another virtual write-in or any other writing resources that we have on YouTube. And if you're able to, please donate. So,
keep writing.
Keep writing.
If you've already doubled up,
get your novels
quadruple
done.
up.
Yes.
Double again.
Yes.
Yeah.
And feel free to
Don't
write.
do the Hemingway.
Definitely don't do
Yeah.
the Hemingway. And definitely feel free to write after this virtual write-in if you feel inspired in some type of way, or go back and look at other virtual write-ins to kind of get that inspiration going.
All right.
All right. Hope you guys have a great day. Bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
I'm keeping the hat on.
Bye. Keeping the hat on. Bye. All right. And we're done.